Harlot, Iron Maiden. And before that was Twilight of the Thunder God, Amon Amarth. Definite pairing, which we will only hear here on the Haunted Cabaret, of old metal and new metal. So take your choice. You don't have to choose because here you get both. We were just talking during the music about the mystery of why clubs come and go. Sometimes it's stupidity. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I have this theory, which I've said before, that Stephen King coined the phrase dead zone for a psychic phenomenon. But I don't know, I have this theory that there are some locations, like geography-wise, where things just don't work. In other words, you can see a building where like 5 different businesses have been in there in 5 years. Like nothing succeeds. Just down 2 steps down the road, the community's thriving. I don't know. Is there such a thing, Chuckles, as just like bad, not bad seeds because that's people, but is there such a thing as just bad places?
Could be. I've been accused of being a curse to some of these areas.
Oh, you're a curse to your own neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of the places that I have performed at shut down the very next day or within the very next week. The living room was my very first place I performed. Within a week, shut down. The Dark Lady, I did a couple performances there. And the day after, shut down. Friday Night Decadence, did a performance there twice. One for earlier. No, it shut down once, and then it came back alive again. And right after I did the performance, it shut down again.
Bashed it with a hammer the second time.
And of course, the ever so popular Blaze Billiards. That was one of the last performances there too. So a lot of people are saying if you book Chuckles the Clown, it's a curse to your establishment.
All right, well, I'll give you some credit. I mean, there's a couple of those names in there that, okay, yeah, I'll give you credit for closing down. Kind of like the Birderville Omen that settles down, kind of like the Raven, that settles on the room, and bad things happen from then on. The shadow is cast across the establishment. A couple of those, though, I can't, as much as I'd like to, I can't give you full credit. I mean, right now the show's being broadcast from West Warwick, and especially the example I think of that you mentioned is Blaze's Billiards. Now, a little back, now everybody in New England knows the story of what happened to a very famous club in West Warwick, which burned to the ground with 100 casualties. Okay. How far was the establishment known as Blaze's Billiards from the site of the station fire?
Not far.
Not far. So what happened is that some genius of an entrepreneur thought it was going to be a good business idea to open a nightclub about 3 blocks over from the scene of the worst nightclub fire tragedy in the history of the United States. And he was going to call his club Blaze's Billiards. And he was going to make this place a success. Now, I think, before I even get into the bad karma, Chuckles, you have kind of a Wiccan background, kind of a pagan background. You know about bad karma.
Yeah, bad juju. Yep.
Yeah, bad juju. I mean, leaving that even aside, I mean, I don't know, what do you think was uppermost in this guy's fate? Like, stupidity or bad juju? I think it was a devil's brew of both.
I like the guy a lot.
I'm not saying he was a nice guy. I'm saying he was an idiot.
And the place was a fun place to perform at.
Yes, we played that every time.
And we had some good crowds, and there was nights that we had no crowds, and we were able to drink what we had some really good-looking bartenders there, by the way. Penny, you're still gorgeous, although you're getting married. Still think you're a good-looking gal. But there was way too much stuff going on that I shouldn't have. Like if you ran a charity event, and there'd be people coming in the door saying that they're there to play pool, but then they'd come over and watch the show, so they wouldn't contribute, but they'd be sitting there playing pool. And the guys that were running the charity events, well, thanks for the free haul, buddy, but I didn't make anything. I just lost money for this charity.
And a few more dollars on top of betting against the idiots playing pool.
Right, and then he started charging certain people for renting the hall, and I think that killed it right there when people started figuring out, I have to pay to rent this.
Yeah, they just looked around and said, I might as well just rent my outdoor tool shed.
People could come in through the back door. People could come in through the front door. No problems. We even did a show down there with Psychopathic where couple name artists that came in,
Right.
and there was a lot of people coming off the street that didn't pay.
Yeah,
And
because you had that back door.
Right, and these artists were wondering, why the hell was I shorted my money? And there's all these people out there. There was this big crowd there, and the artists were still short of their money. Well, because the majority of them were let into the front door or the back door. All they had to say is, hey, I'm Blaze's friend, and they would let them in. I wonder why the place made no money. And the guys would rack up these tabs, these horrible, I could hear the numbers. If he had actually collected the money that was owed on those tabs, the place would probably still be open.
That's kind of like, Rocky Point comes to mind. Maybe it's, maybe there's like an idiot element just running right through this part of the state of Rhode Island. Not, maybe the whole state, but especially this area, because from what I understand, that was the fate of that famous amusement park, Rocky Point. I mean, I remember, because that place was open to what, this I do remember going there, because this was open to the early 90s.
94, I believe.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I remember going there as a kid. And this place, they never had, again, like you said, right? They never had enough money. But this place, there were 3-mile lines to get there on a Friday night to listen to like Voice the Cult, Ted Nugent, Robin Lane, packed. You couldn't walk. And somehow, this place never had enough money. And apparently what happened when they went to make that documentary, You Must Be This Tall, about the history of Rocky Point Park, somebody finally mentioned that, well, the reason they didn't have enough money is because only 1 out of 3 admissions went into the till.
Yeah, you were pocketing the rest of it. No wonder why it went under.
Right, and if you were an honest admissions gatekeeper, you went into the bay.
You know, they tried blaming it on the fines and the fees, but even that place, I remember one of my lifetimes being resurrected, that thing was always packed.
Yeah.
Even when you went into that shore dining hall, that thing was jammed.
I mean, and it's not like they fed you expensive food when you got in there.
Yeah,
I mean, the clam cakes would choke the seagulls.
They were. No, I'm going to go on record for this. I like saying this. It's nostalgia, the clam cakes and chowder for me. Do they taste good? No. The chowder is battery acid, and the clam cakes, we were lucky if they had clams on them. But you had 2 choices. You had the boiled chicken meal or the clam cakes and chowder. So, of course, you're picking those 2. I do, however, remember the first time projectile vomiting was going on this ride called the Enterprise. Remember that sucker?
Yes, I used that was my favorite.
You used to spin really quick on the bottom and then start spinning up in the air. On that pivot, when it does that, someone inside the evil clown's stomach turned. I think it was the cakes trying to escape, and I painted that wall behind me an orange-red color.
And painted is the right word, because, yes, when you upchucked that clam chowder, it was an orange, a bright, radioactive orangey red.
Even the seagulls didn't want to go back for that afterwards. Usually you puke something up, the seagulls are like, hey, free food. They're like, hell no, man, I'm not eating that.
No, they kind of flew at a respectful distance. kind of like after the Chernobyl meltdown.
Yeah, definitely.
All the birds of prey, they flew at least a mile away, even though there was plenty of food lying on the ground. But the place where you could really scrutinize the after effects of that clam chowder, though, was under a ride called the Spider.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, turn you upside down. That thing was horrible.
They didn't turn you upside down. I think you're talking about the rock and roll.
Okay.
The Spider was a big black thing. It had 8 tentacles.
Right, and the little carts in it.
Little carts at the end of the tentacle, and they spun. They went right down and spun. And it didn't matter what time of the day it was. The park could have only been open for a half hour in the morning. And there were puddles of this yellowish red glowing puke under the Spider. And it didn't dry up. It didn't fade into the asphalt. It made kind of like, I remember watching The Blob. Remember The Blob?
Yep.
About the giant space amoeba type thing. Well, when a piece of that broke off and you killed it, it kind of burned into the asphalt and left a stain of itself. This is what the clam cake residue did. I mean, to this day, I'm sure. I'm going to go check with a camera, because they're going to be opening that park again for recreational jogging and sightseeing and sitting by the water. It won't be an amusement park, but still, we'll be able to go into the area. I'm going to go investigate the ground where that Spider used to be. And I don't know, will you be coming with me?
No, I definitely
It
will.
might be dangerous because you don't know what kind of mutation might have taken place ever since.
Definitely. I'm going to trip you into this mutation and record it.
Yeah. I mean, at the least, we want to see, these unspeakable burn patches, soaked into the asphalt. At worst, well, we don't know what the worst is until we go there.
So really weird colored grass. And I don't mean that type of grass you get at 420 either. I mean some really weird colored grass.
My prediction is that because of that whatever substance they put in that chowder and clam cakes, when visitors start to visit that park on a regular basis to do their jogging and their picnicking and whatever else they decide to do there, people are going to start disappearing. Because I don't think I just don't feel that you can introduce such alien toxic substances into the natural environment without causing some kind of, let's just say, disaster.
The Rocky Point blob story. Here we go. We're going to write that one down too. Jason Ayu, if you're listening to this, there's an idea for you.
Yeah, and we won't have to make up fiction either. I think what we're going to be doing there, Chuckles, is documenting.
It's quite possible.
The first jogger that they find with strange burns on her body, that's...
Speaking about horror, did you ever make it to the haunted house that was inside there? The Rocky Point haunted house?
They called it the Haunted Castle. It had the dragon on it and stuff.
Not the dark ride. They actually put a haunted house in there for, I think, like maybe 3 to 4 days before the fire department shut it down.
Yes, it was more like half a season because and I missed it too. Because it stood where the Music Express stood later.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. It was a nice one. It was a good one. A lot of animatronics in there.
I thought it was fun. I was kind of pissed off when they shut it down.
What was the basis of shutting it down? Do we remember back then?
I think it was around the same time as the station nightclub fires. They put that in there.
No, I think this was before. That was way. Yeah, we're talking before because, like you said, that horror house didn't last. It didn't last the whole season.
So then it had to be.
We're talking early '80s.
No. There was a revamp of a haunted house in there after it closed down. They had revamped it and they had started to try to make another haunted house in there.
Then they gave up and put the haunted. And they gave up and put the Music Express there.
No. This is right after it had closed down. Rocky Point had closed down. And
Rocky Point did.
Yep, one of the gentlemen.
Ride, you mean? Just Rocky Point did.
Rocky Point closed down in general. And
all right. We're talking about a different thing.
Right, and some gentleman bought it and made a haunted house. And it got closed down really quick. And I think it was around the same time as the station nightclub.
All right. We're talking about two different things. Our house I'm talking about was a midway attraction. There was the old castle.
The dark ride.
Then, in the early 80s, for a short time, there was a new haunted attraction, haunted castle, haunted house on the Midway. And I forget what it was called. It was the Haunted something or other, I think. And it was like very modern. Like a lot of animatronics. And that was only there for maybe like half a season, one season at most. Then you went back to the next spring and the Music Express was where it was for the rest of the years of Rocky Point. All right, so you're saying is after the park itself?
After it closed itself, there was a gentleman that had resurrected a haunted house inside there. It didn't last long, and I think he used part of the dark ride. I can't remember off the top of my head if he did. I do, however, remember that the dude that's alive that put that dark ride together is still alive, and that was one of the biggest accomplishments he ever did. And it was really sad to see us basically tear it down and trash it. It was, one of his finest artworks. This guy would go from area to area setting up dark rides.
Well, there was no way to keep it, really. Because I know even when Rocky Point was still open, it was in decay. I mean, I don't know what they made. I don't know what it was constructed out of. But in other words, what I mean is the outer shell of the